everyone, and welcome to another engaging Hot Story podcast where we uncover financial mystery. And for this reason, we have special guest Ryan Ferrara, which is going to be helping us answering all mystery questions to everyone. So if you're new in this field today, it's your day. So please introduce yourself, and I have so many questions for you.
Thank you. My name is Ryan Ferrara, and I'm a specialist protection insurance advisor.
That's it. So no more. Straightforward. The question is going to be number one. Imagine I'm very first time home buyer and I need that house and I have no clue how to start, where to go, who can help me. And the process, I want that house.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Please help us to make the nice road how to achieve the goal and have this house.
In terms of a mortgage point of view,
Yes.
I've got to be careful about mortgages. I don't advise on mortgages.
Okay.
So that would be like a big no for me to be able to give advice on a mortgage.
Yeah, but the process, what you need to have in consideration, what is important.
Okay. So we talk like the bare basics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So initially, I would say that you would. It's a bit of a catch-22 in a way of, do you look at a property first, or do you understand how much you can borrow or how much a lender can lend you?
Okay.
I would always say the first instance is go and speak with a mortgage advisor who would be able to let you know how much you can borrow. So you would need to give them basic information, sort of income, expenditure, and then they would be able to give you a rough figure of, this is how much we can borrow. Sorry, this is how much we can lend.
Okay.
How much you can borrow.
Yeah.
And then you would then be able to look at a certain bracket of property based on what deposit you then have to place down on that property.
Okay. So let's say if I have no deposit at all, is any way people can achieve that goal? Do you can recommend somebody to go somewhere?
There are, so every lender will have certain criteria.
All right.
And there are some lenders out there that will do 0% deposits.
Oh, wow.
But that's where it's speaking with a professional mortgage expert to be able to put you in touch with those specific lenders.
Excellent. So what is the goal in your career? So where you are today, the goal where you want to be in 1 year, 2 years, the goal.
My main goal really is quite simple in the sense that I want to be able to help as many individuals and as many families and businesses protect themselves. So it's a very simple goal of being able to arrange as many policies as possible.
Okay. So again, business and private, like physical person, you can help them as well. So as business, we can contact you. You be able to provide us protection on the level we require, correct?
Yes. So it's all based upon your circumstances and what's right for you. And my advice is based upon what is right for you after we go through a fact find with each other to understand your requirements. And then I will then recommend what I believe is right, whether that's for your business or whether that's for you as an individual.
Oh, excellent. I have a question which is maybe going to be interesting only if you analyzing the world. Everything changes these days, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell me, your audience, the people, businesses, okay, you helped in the past years, how that is different than we had a pandemic? is going to be big question. Okay, how that was different for you, how you assisting everyone, not everything yet. Also, I wanted to understand how that change, if any changes, you have in Europe war now, and that is serious. The people in Ukraine suffer. We know that. And we, as much as possible, we helping them. And I looking in every business individually. And I want to understand what different and how that affect or not affect in the way you work in your field. Please tell me.
So I would say pre-COVID,
Okay.
I would actually say that from a point of view of a clientele understanding the value of protection, pre-COVID we were, I would say from a mortgage inquiry point of view, it was more buoyant because there was more stability in the market. But from a protection viewpoint, actually post-COVID has taught clients the importance of having that cover in place. So if we take one of our insurers, and we have a panel of insurers, but one of them, Aviva, as an example, they paid out more money than what they would have done on claims because people were able to claim on the policies because of COVID, because they were in hospital for a certain amount of days, requiring ventilation. That triggered for one policy that Aviva do to pay out more. So they actually paid out more than what they would have normally done because of COVID. So I think from a COVID point of view, it's actually done the industry a bit of good in the sense that clients are understanding the value of protection rather than, and I think that goes down to the advice that they're given as well. If you advise in the right way, the client should always be aware of what that policy does and the value and the benefits of that. You should never, ever take a policy just because somebody, Dave down the pub, said you should have this policy. You know, you should always seek professional advice on that. And that's where I believe that COVID has actually played a bit of a positive impact on the industry from that point of view. In terms of and the war in Ukraine is devastating, and when you look at that from a business viewpoint, there's many industries that have been affected. I would say, from my point of view, it's the stability factor, where you would see different lenders, for example, not wanting to look to lend certain amounts, or the stability in the market that has affected our industry as such.
Okay.
But of course, there is other industries where it's affected more so with energy prices, and we have seen with cost of living as an example, with mainly the energy price increase. From a income protection point of view, which is one of the covers I advise upon, we have seen that actually people, when we're reviewing their covers, we're having to increase their covers because the cover that they usually have or they normally have in place. So let's say, God forbid, they weren't able to work, they were signed off their work, not able to do their occupation. This policy would kick in and it would pay a certain amount per month to make sure you can keep paying the bills and paying the mortgage. Now, post-war in Ukraine, that could have been, someone could have been covering themselves for £1,500 a month. Because of the cost of living and things have increased dramatically,
Okay.
mainly with utilities, we are very often changing customers' benefit amounts because they're not enough anymore. So I would imagine from that viewpoint, that's how it's affected the protection industry that I've personally seen.
Okay, it's really interesting. Thank you so much for in-depth and detailed answer, because it's, as so many our listeners, viewers may see as a mystery on things like that, and having your detailed answer, for me personally, it makes more sense, and I kind of would like to say put dots together, so it's clear.
Yeah, and I think, it's like I say, it's affected many different industries, and it's affected business, of course, but it's the main effect is on the people.
Exactly.
And you should never forget that obviously things might have got harder from our point of view, but it's still worlds away from
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what main questions you have when somebody require that policy or another? What main common questions or mistakes you often hear?
One of them is client.
One more question. Please tell me the questions you have when people indecision where to go and who to ask and what question to ask in applying for that policy or that policy, or they need the answer. So what main mistakes or majority mistakes they do, and just please help our listeners to answer to this, so they have clear way to understand this mystery.
Yeah, so I would say the main mistakes that people would make, from what I've seen over the years, is they haven't they haven't updated their policies as best as what they should. So they haven't been reviewed. Of course, life changes, mortgages increase, we borrow more, we get a bigger house, we have children, and we don't look at the policies when they should be looked at. One of the other mistakes I would say has made is, unfortunately, people look at policies when either something has happened to somebody close by and it's triggered them to think, oh my goodness, I wouldn't want to be in or put my family in that position. Or they look at a policy when they've been diagnosed with something, which means it is very tricky to obtain cover, or we might not even be able to obtain cover. So the advice I would say is always be proactive with what you're doing, and what policies you're going to be looking at. And that's where we're there to advise you impartially on what we believe is right for yourself. And our recommendation will be made upon your circumstances, your requirements, and essentially how much you're comfortable with paying.
One more question. I can't skip that. Did you have any help or any effect if you think including AI? Is any changes, any help if you think about AI in your industry?
So obviously AI is a big subject in every industry at the moment, and I would say from our point of view, I'd seen something recently on LinkedIn when another advisor had asked AI, what is life insurance? And the response was almost perfect. It told the person what life insurance was. And I think that's where it could help from a point of view, from an education point of view. But you're removing the human element from the advice. And the advice essentially is that, so AI can tell you what that policy is and maybe what it does, but it can't tell you if it's right for you.
Amazing. That's straight to the point. Basically, if you don't know at all what that is, AI will tell you, but AI don't know you
I
and
think
your
that's where
needs.
it's beneficial, yeah. And if you were to use a scenario, for example, you have a life insurance and a relevant life policy. Now, one's personal life insurance, relevant life is through your business. It's the same life insurance. However, AI can't tell you that you're a limited company director, so this one's actually better for you because of the tax advantages. That's where the advice element comes
I
in.
love it. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so very much. So I like to say thank you so very much,
My
Ryan.
pleasure.
And it was so nice talking to you. You opened so many good ideas on this mystery. I hope our listeners, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment, ask the questions, and I do believe Ryan will be happy to answer.
course, yeah.
Thank you so much, and we will looking forward for our next podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.